Hi, I'm Ken Kilday, and I'm a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
Yes, y'all. It's time once again for another ResultsLeader.fm. If you're new around here, this is the only show on the internet dedicated to the men and women who are getting results for their clients. If you've been here before, welcome back. You know what we're all about. We're talking to those results leaders out there. And if you're one of those business owners whose hard work and effort is not producing like it used to, you're going to love today's guest. Mr. Ken Kilday is going to help us unlock leadership genius to build independent and accountable teams. Let's jump in. Ken, welcome to the show. Are you ready to rock this thing?
I absolutely am, Jonathan. Thank you for having me.
I know you are. Let's give our listeners a quick win. What book have you given most as a gift?
Yeah, people are most likely to get the 4 Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz, from me. And I always include a bookmark because even though I say it's one of my favorite books, if you ask me what the 4 agreements are, I'm going to stumble on one of them. I guarantee it. And it'll be a different one every time.
I haven't heard that one in a minute, and it's on my Kindle, so I think I'll go back and dive into it. Thanks for the reminder. Let's go to story time. Tell us a story of how an apparent failure set you up for later success.
Oh, absolutely. The one that comes to mind when people ask me that is actually when I left corporate America 4+ years ago now to start this business. A lot of the reasons I was leaving that position and looking for another was just an incredibly unhealthy relationship with the executive I reported to. We defined friction. And when I joined that organization, I thought I was going to be there till I retired. And things were going well from a quantitative result standpoint, but the qualitative aspect of it, how I formed that relationship, just felt like a huge miss. And it set me up not only to reflect, but also as I interviewed out in my own industry, to come back to, well, what is it that I enjoy doing in roles? Where have I had successes? Where am I in flow? Where am I enthusiastic? And that's how I came to form a coaching business, which has just been an absolute dream come true for me, not without its tough days, to be sure. But had I not had that weird friction-full relationship, I never would have had this business or the life that I'm currently living.
So how did you make the decision? I mean, most people, if they don't like their job, they move to another job. You start your own business. How do you make that decision and come to grips with it and own it?
It was certainly not one particular day. It was at least a 90 to 180 day process of, once I announced I had a 60-day notice requirement. And so I gave that. And of course, it's a big industry, but a small network. And so I started interviewing with other organizations. It was going to require a move, which is fine. But there's just a nagging feeling that something wasn't as exciting as it had been in the past when I would explore opportunities. So it was me and my husband having a conversation over dinner one night where he asked that question of, what's the commonality in all the roles you've had? What is the thing that you love the most? And it came to me right away. It was, I love developing other human beings, helping them figure out they've got a lot of talent that's already there if they'll dive into it and figure out how to use it even better. Input any sports analogy you want to put right there. But that was the conversation we had. So we started mapping out, what would a business look like? How does business coaching work, et cetera? And I did my homework and mapped it out while I was still doing some interviewing, trying to play both sides, and mapped out exactly how we were going to make this work for us financially and practically and as a career opportunity for me. So that's what we did. We did it as a partnership.
I hear you saying significant other.
Yeah.
Asking the right questions. I love it, man. So what would you say is the most worthwhile investment that you ever made?
Far and away, the investment that I've made is my investment in health. My dad passed, 2010. And it was looking at pictures of me and my sisters from the funeral. And I thought, oh my goodness, my face is round. And that last year of his life, I realized I'd been what we lovingly call Cabernet coping. There had been a few glasses of wine here and there as Dad tackled a lot of big health issues his last year and was really not himself. As many people listening will know from their own past, our parents get old and unfortunately not always in a great way. And so I started investing in my health. I realized that I was going to go down that road that my dad did of not taking care of, the bag of bones I walk around in. And I made an absolute commitment to being in the gym every day, not every day, but having a program to commit to and sticking with it. Like it's just an absolute. So I was never one of those leaders that, skipped the gym to get in even earlier to get a head start on my day. Because if I don't feel good and I'm not healthy, it won't be for any good. So that was an investment of both time and money as I explored the CrossFit community. Not the least expensive way to get fit, but it's certainly motivating and community-based. And that's how I stayed with it all these years later. So I think I just celebrated my 9 years in the spring was 9 years of CrossFit. So that has paid big dividends for me.
Now I got to go off on a tangent here because I'm curious about CrossFit. When I watch it from the outside, I'm like, if I do that stuff, I'm going to get hurt. And I'm worried about getting hurt because I'm older now. And so how do you keep from getting hurt? I mean, just give me an idea how it works.
So here's the bottom line with a shameless plug at some point, I'm sure. But when anyone joins CrossFit, they meet the person where they are. So literally, I've had friends that have joined, I'm in my 50s. So a lot of my friends are in their 50s. And when they join, if they're coming from a place of haven't either ever lifted a barbell or no time in the last decade, you're going to start with some PVC pipe. And that's what you're going to learn how to move around until you have it. And then you might get the barbell, which is 45 pounds, 35 for women. And if that's, if that's where you are, that's where the coaches are going to meet you. They're going to go see what your goal is, and they're going to design a program around that. So that's the short answer, shameless plug of I have a coach, even though I don't have a CrossFit gym in the small town I live in, I still have a coach I met 8 years ago that writes all my programming. He knows exactly how I move. He knows what my goals are. And then I go to my little local gym here, and that's what I do. So yeah, you'll get, like with anything, you'll get hurt if you're way out ahead of your skill level. For anyone who's watched the CrossFit Games, you're not going from coach to the CrossFit Games in a week. It's just not going to happen.
Man, I'm going to take your word for it. I had a buddy who I met on this show invite me to go do pickleball. And I think I'm an athlete. And I went over there and I wrecked my knee. I'm like, I can't even do squats. I had to take a month off the squats. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to do anything but my regular exercise. But I'm with you, man. 45 years old. I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Back to the program. In the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has improved your life?
Yeah, we moved part of the forming our own business. So we used to live in Phoenix, home base of Phoenix. And a decade ago, we planted a flag with a small home in Sedona, Arizona as a weekend getaway. Maybe one day we'd retire. And when I decided to start my own business, we sold the Phoenix home and we just made, he's always been able to work from home. And I thought, well, given my background, I can leverage technology to work from wherever I want. And this is before COVID, so that wasn't a thing back then. But we came up here, and one of the habits that we picked up, again, the influence of my spouse, was mountain biking. And at first I thought that's where you just hop on a bicycle and you pedal on a trail instead of on a street. Not the case. So about 2 years ago, I got serious about it. He said, hey, let's go to a camp. It's a whole weekend where we can learn skills, skills in the morning, application in the afternoon. And we started doing it. And yes, it is a physical challenge, but there's so much mindset to it. Confidence is such an important element of being a great mountain biker, and taking risks and learning how to measure the balance between my ability and my confidence, and constantly testing that and moving it forward. So, fast forward, and the last vacation we went on 2 weeks ago was to Moab, where we rode the whole enchilada, which is a 27-mile trail run.
How long does that take?
It took us, plus a 5 miles back to the starting point, it took us 7.5 hours total.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
That's a commitment.
And it starts at 10,000 feet. It was so, and I tell you what, we rode as a group of four, and we couldn't have had a better physical day, a better mental day, a better weather day, a better equipment day. Nothing broke. Nobody crashed. We just had our heads on straight, right? Took nothing for granted. It was just wonderful. It's a bucket list item, so check. But man, there's nothing like being out and just letting one's mind just do its thing, right? It's awesome.
Man. What are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
The things that I hear that I think that just can't be right is absolutism. It's my program is the one that works, and you have to do it exactly as I say, or you won't get a result. That absolutism, I think that may be an effective marketing tool, but that's not what is in any entrepreneur or business leader's best interest.
Is your program the best? I'm just messing with you. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a public service announcement. We're going to get right back into this show, but I wanted to ask you a question. If you have been listening to the show for any amount of time and you've picked up even one single tip, then I need your help. Get the word out. Tell people about resultsleader.fm. Share it on social media. Share it on your email. Share it anywhere. Hashtag resultsleaderfm. Now let's jump back into the interview. So, Ken, let's talk about results. Why do results matter?
Yeah, results are a measure of effectiveness. I would discern between the difference between results this month or this quarter, this year, versus long-term enduring results. And in business, when I see great examples of success defined by results, it's that enduring track record of doing something really well over and over. A mentor of mine many years ago had said to me, of course I was young and impatient. I mean, that's how we're wired when we're younger, of, hey, I'm ready for my next promotion. And he sat me down, and he's probably 15 or 20 years older than me. And he says, Ken, get through your head that there's nothing wrong with building a track record of success. A way of proving that you can succeed with any team in any season. And that will serve you well. It will help with confidence, yours and your team's. And it was just really great. So while results do matter, it's a matter of, have we demonstrated that we can perform in a tough economy, a great economy? In corporate life, it's a matter of, sometimes you inherit a high-performing team. Well, that had nothing to do with you if you just arrived and they're hitting records. And sometimes you have to unpack some issues when you get a new team. So it's definitely a measure of all the things all the decisions we have and haven't made as leaders, but differentiate between one-time, one-hit wonders and enduring platinum record sales, if you will.
What area of your business would you like to see better results?
Where I would like to see better results is when I'm working with a whole company. I would love to crack the code of helping them understand that getting out of working on that reactive component of what they've gotten into, getting into proactive mode, is the disruption. Is that our word, right? The disruption of, that's how you get results. And that's what gets in people's way. So I'd love to close that time frame of how long that takes for that particular aha moment.
What are some of the things that you can do to help people break out of that reactive mode into that proactive mode? Can you give us a couple examples?
Yeah, for sure. It's a matter of, I've got to get them to, we got to build trust immediately, right? I just have got to be really connected with them. And then quickly test the waters to see, can they take really direct feedback, said with caring and candor, right? But building the trust foundation and then testing it quickly and then calling it out. So, specific example, one of my longer term clients even said to me, he had seen one of my social media posts and he said, I still feel like that sometimes, like I'm the crisis desk. And I said, okay, well, let's unpack that from your crisis desk. And he immediately dropped into the pattern of telling me all the reasons why there's no other way than the way he's doing it. And this is the moment, right? I said, can you hear yourself? You asked me for help. I'm helping you unpack it. And you were defending the thing you say is absolutely driving you nuts. And he stopped and he said, I didn't even realize I was doing it. And it's a playback. So the sooner I get, where can I as a coach be better, is inserting that moment a lot faster. And again, all sports coaching analogies work here. All of them work here.
How do you identify if they're able to take that? Because I'm with you. I mean, that's awareness. We got to be aware of that, and you're shining a light on it. How do you know the receiving party is open to that?
This is where video or in person, I need to see them so I can see their reaction. If I don't know them really well, then I've got to see them early on. I have to see how emotion plays on their face, if it plays on their face. There's always a tell. Even my most stoic client, I can see his jaw muscle right at the base of his jaw. I'll just see it tighten. I'm like, you're going to crack a molar if you keep that one up. But it's read it. And then this is, we all have something in childhood that may not have seemed like a benefit at the time, but turns out to be. Well, I grew up in a house with more than a few drinkers. And so the kids all learned how to read the room really early. We learned how to read the room. Who's going to have an issue? Did we want to be there? And I still use that skill to this day, which is I read their emotion and then I ask about it. And I coach to this skill as well, as sometimes you meta communicate. You get out and above the conversation you're having, where we pause. It says, and I say, and encourage them to do the same. Something just moved across your face. It feels awkward all of a sudden. What's happening? What just happened? And most of my clients will dive right in and realize, now we found it. We found the sore spot. Once we find it, we can work on it.
I dig it, man. We're teaching our son that when he keeps bothering mommy. Read the room, bro. Read. Mommy's about to snap.
Yeah.
Too good. What results are you most proud of?
I am simultaneously humbled and proud that from the day I officially launched, I've had clients. I've never not had them. And I know that's not true for all businesses, especially the way I'm, in coaching and consultancy. Sometimes people take a little time to get a good business going or get a client list going. And I had people that were ready to go that wanted to hire me that reached out immediately. And then even through COVID, I still maintain clients. And I know that that's also not true for a great many of my peer group. They went a month or so with no one, like everyone put them on hold. We became the variable expense that could be stopped in the middle of something no one had seen before in our lifetimes.
Any parting thoughts you want to share with the results leaders who are listening to us right now?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a gift for what you're doing, and my industry is there to help you make the most of your gift. Again, all sports metaphors apply. And find the coach that's going to partner with you. Don't be hesitant about interviewing a few of us. When it clicks for you, it will click for you. You'll know exactly who you want to work with and partner with to get the best out of yourself.
Yeah, man. DYOR, do your own research. Brother, where can our listeners get more from you?
You can find me at kenkilday.com, KENKILDAY.com. All of my social media connections are also there so that you can click the icons of your favorite social media outlet, and I'm there. And then, of course, on the contact page, you can reach me there as well. I'm available just like everybody else is by text, phone, or email.
Excellent. We will be sure to share your links in the show notes. Thank you for hanging with us, Ken, and thank you, results leaders, for tuning in. Another episode is in the can. That is a wrap for another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to ResultsLeader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy. but results leadership is hard. We'll catch you on the next one.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.